cross country and track, 1979 to 1983. Mark Scrutton, one of the first dominant long-distance runners in program history. In 4 seasons here at CU, Mark earned a total of 12 letters in cross country, indoor and outdoor track combined. He was a 2-time national champion, winning the NCAA cross country title in 1982, the 2-mile run in 1983. He won a record 17 Big 8 conference individual titles, 14 on the track and 3 in cross country. Mark won 4 indoor 3-mile titles, 4 outdoor 3-mile titles, 3 10,000-meter run titles, and 3 indoor 2-mile titles. He was a 9-time All-American, earning honors 3 times on a cross-country course and 6 on the track. He was named CU's Male Athlete of the Year for 1982-83 and won the 1983 Boulder shortly after graduation. In fact, the only Buff male to ever win that hometown 10K race. He relocated to his native Great Britain eventually, where he's now a top anesthesiologist. Hall of Famer here at the University of Colorado, cross country and track, 1979 to 1983. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Scrutton.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I'm a bit in awe of all this tonight. It is a massive honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame with some outstanding athletes. I don't know about pictures, but as you grow up as a distance runner, you're always the scrawny little person. And, you know, to be around such fantastic athletes, even this morning we were in Dot's Diner and looking through the sort of people being inducted, and even my wife says to me, God, they're all football players, basketball, they're all going to be taller and bigger than you. And sure enough, I think Erin was wearing high heels, to be fair, but as I say, you get used to that as a distance runner. Anyway, it's been fantastic to be back here. We walked around campus today. It was a beautiful day. It was supposed to be cold and rainy, according to the weather forecast coming. In England, we go to Scotland quite a lot on vacation, and the saying they have in Scotland is, you should have been here last week, because it was sunny, and it's never sunny in Scotland. It always rains. And Boulder's 300 days of sunshine a year, and I was bringing my wife here to say 300 days of sunshine, and I thought it was going to rain, but in fact it was a fantastic day, despite what the man at the rental car down at DIA said yesterday when we were getting the smallest car off the lot. And he's going, no, you're going to need a bigger car. It's going to be a big storm coming in. I'm going, no, we're just going up to Boulder. Ooh, could be 2 feet of snow up there. Anyway, we made it into town, and it's great to be back. I came here in 1978 to visit. Straight out of high school, I flew over to New York and got the ticket for the Greyhound bus, traveled coast to coast and stopped off in Denver and came up here to Boulder, where Dean Brittenham was the coach back in 1978. And he was a wonderful person, a very kind, very supportive coach. He showed me around campus, and I was massively impressed. You know, back then, a wonderful campus. And handed me over to the it was just the beginning of the training season for the cross-country team, handed me over to the cross-country team, who promptly took me out for a very hard run at altitude for the first time in my life, beasted me around sort of up into the canyon and around, and then took me to what was then Herbie's restaurant, it was the Sink before, but when I was here it was called Herbie's. It's now the Sink again. They took me up there because they wanted to try out their theory that English people could drink more beer than Americans. And so they, picture after picture of this rather sort of frothy stuff you guys call beer, Michelob or Bud. It wasn't Coors, fun enough, because back then Coors, you didn't drink Coors on campus for some reason, I can't remember, but it's all changed now, of course. But anyway, despite that, I survived the night and their best efforts, and decided at that point that Colorado was really the place that I wanted to come to. And I think it was one of the very best decisions I ever made. I had a fantastic time here, fantastic career here, a lot of really good friends, both on the team and at the university. I do have a slight sort of confession to make, is that in '78 I also got back on the Greyhound bus and went all the way to San Francisco, to California. And I did go for a quick visit to to Stanford University. I don't recall the reason, but I'd invited myself in to have a talk to the coach there, who was, I think he was called Peyton Jordan, if I remember, and he was what I would call a real sort of American, and he had a big office, and I went in there into this big office and sat myself down. He was more of a sprint coach. I think he was probably an ex-football player and more of a sprint coach, and he didn't really understand distance running. And I sat down and sort of told him my times and stuff, and he, after a long while, he said, "Well, son," that's my American accent. "Well, son," he said, "that's great." He says, "You sound really good, but frankly, we don't take foreigners on our track team." Now, I didn't speak American very well back then, so I didn't really understood what he'd actually said to me. But it just struck me, it was a little bit of a put down. I've just ever since had a little bit of a grudge against Stanford. So it comes full circle, really, is that to come back here and to come to the Hall of Fame weekend and to know that we're playing Stanford on Saturday, it would make my weekend in a small way if we thrashed them on Saturday. Now, obviously, I went to a few football games in my time here, and I'm taking my wife and trying to explain how it works. We're rugby fans in the UK. Mrs. Scrutton doesn't understand, I probably don't understand American football well myself, but I do remember one particular game where some of you may also remember, where Oregon came to town, the Oregon Ducks. Now, I'm not sure why any team would want to have a duck as your mascot. I mean, looking at these wonderful trophies back here, I just wonder if you're inducted into the Oregon Hall of Fame. I don't mean to be, from a sort of animal point of view, I don't want to be politically incorrect. I mean, ducks are fine, and Oregon is a bit damp, a bit like Scotland, but I would much rather be a golden buffalo than an Oregon duck. But anyway, I remember one game where as you probably don't know what I'm going to say here, but where Oregon came to town and their mascot, the duck, which obviously was a person, I don't know if it was a girl or a boy, dressed as a duck when running around the field in the pre-game show, sort of trying to get enthusiasm up for the Oregon Ducks. And Ralphie came in, and I know Ralphie is a buffalo and I mean, we all know she's a cow dressed as a bull, but nonetheless, Ralphie came in and got 3 of her handlers and chased the Oregon Duck around the stadium, which I think brought the place to fantastic. And I don't think Oregon I don't know who won the game, but they lost the game right there. And I sort of, in my ignorance, I thought, well, the Stanford Cardinals, I thought maybe they've got a cardinal dressed as a person or a person dressed as a cardinal, perhaps. But I did a little bit of research just before I came here, and my understanding now is cardinal is the color of their team, and their actual mascot is a tree. And I guess, I'm not sure why you'd want a tree as a mascot, but Ralphie chasing a tree around the stadium, well, I mean, it might have its merits, who knows, anyway. Anyhow, I was told to keep this short. It is a fantastic honor to be back here. I was going to say the hospital. Too much. The university is gone from strength to strength. The team now, the cross-country team and track team, Coach Mark Wetmore, I haven't met. Is Coach Wetmore here tonight? I don't know. I'd love to meet him. He had fantastic success in the last few years. Top team in the nation, I think, going on for the 3rd year running. And it would be great to be part of a program like that. It was great to be part of the program when I was here, but they're obviously doing fantastically well. So it's great to be back here. It's a real honor to join both the folk here tonight who are being inducted with me, but also the long list of people who've gone before, the long list of outstanding track stars who I feel very, very small in comparison. People like Mary Decker, people like the Gouchers, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much indeed.